Maybe the most fundamental and challenging aspect of crafting characters is giving them agency. Their ability to make decisions and affect the plot in ways that allow the audience to empathize, giving them a human quality. Through its gut-wrenchingly true-to-life relationships, Nana's cast hits incredibly close to home. Their interactions, thought processes, and responses to conflict work as a direct reflection of actual 20-somethings bumbling through adult life. Nana is a decidedly realistic portrayal of this messy transition period in a young person's life, importantly told through a feminine lens. The adult woman perspective is troublingly absent from a large chunk of anime, so Nana provides a welcome breath of fresh air. Of course, the series' Josei label should tell you all you need to know about its style. This is the genre most known for genuinely grounded drama actually targeted at an adult audience. Nana provides a lesson in how to create believable characters with affecting drama. Its themes pose countless questions, conflicts, and even life lessons many of us have experienced before, or maybe need to hear for the first time. So how does Nana do it? In what ways do these realistic themes manifest? What makes this eccentric collection of personalities mesh into such an intimately relatable character drama? It begins with the show's impressive penchant for believable dialogue. Right away, the characters' conversations carry an organic feel to them. Nana and Hachi's meeting on the train reveals much about their personalities while maintaining a natural flow and consistent laughs, a sense of humor the show reliably draws upon for moments of levity dispersed amongst its heavier drama.
Yeah.
These are conversations young adults would really have, things they'd really do. Whether it's searching for jobs or apartment hunting, Nana establishes its position as a series about real young adult life immediately. As a 20-year-old myself, I could instantly relate to many of the situations the characters created. Even their thought process going through day-to-day experiences felt familiar. Partially what sets its cast a cut above normal anime fare, none of the characters live in constant fear of their emotions. Rather, an acute recognition of their feelings dictates how they confront their shortcomings and internal dilemmas. People don't magically come to some self-reflective epiphany and become perfect beings with the wave of a wand. Nana's characters struggle with the very same flaws at the end of the series that defined them at the beginning. The melancholic narration of the two Nanas from some time in the future carries a great sense of remorse and yearning for a return to this time in their lives. Their voice here provides a matured recognition of the mistakes they made. They may look like pretty standard fare archetypes, with Nana the punk rocker trying to make the big time and Hachi the normal girl TM, but quickly those facades give way to far more nuanced dispositions, as their backstories reveal underlying character flaws which will come into play later on. For Nana, it's a latent fragility and potential fear of abandonment as a result of her parents deserting her as a child. Nana's stubborn pride and possessiveness cause most of her strife. She feels jealous whenever someone tries to take Hachi away from her, informing her attempts to push Nobu and Hachi together. It's not so much for their happiness as it is her own, a fact she openly admits. Still, her stubbornness also translates into some of her greatest qualities, like her strong will and perseverance. Being Ren's pet isn't enough for her. In that regard, Hachi represents the reverse temperament. Coming from a happy family environment, Hachi suffers from some of the problems you'd expect from a typical 20-year-old girl. Initially unable to take care of herself, easily swept away by surface feelings of love, etc. The show doesn't glorify Hachi's naivete and general easiness, however. Quite the opposite. It's always framed as her biggest fault, and time and again serves as the root of her pain, until it reaches a boiling point as Hachi begins to resent herself. Both Nana's flaws materialize in varying directions throughout the series, and their friendship yields the series' most prominent themes. Nana weaves a tangled web of unrequited love and doomed relationships so complex it'd take Alan Turing to unravel the emotional bottleneck. A common thread through all this is the idea that love isn't binary. You can be in love with more than one person at a time. How the characters handle such messy situations drives much of the series' drama, a conflict introduced in the series' first major arc when Shoji falls for Sachiko. Hachi and Shoji's relationship already seemed headed off the rails by that point, as the two wanted different things from the other. Hachi, with her newfound world opening up to her, checked into the relationship at her convenience, while Shoji felt emotionally detached from her as a result. As a sort of kindred spirit, Sachiko filled that void in him. When the big revelation came, Hachi's reaction left me openly cheering at the screen. But Shoji's infidelity set the stage for larger conflicts still to come. Hachi found herself caught between two loves, Takumi and Nobu. Her rapid downward spiral leading into Takumi's waiting arms is handled so perfectly. Few things make you feel less wanted than getting cheated on, so Hachi had already entered a dark place. That unstable frame of mind naturally led her to think the others only associate with her because she's Nana's roommate. Enter Takumi to fill that gap. Assholes like Takumi prey on women who feel unwanted. Hachi's physical relationship with him slowly starts to grow into emotional dependence, leading her to run to him whenever she feels empty inside. All it takes is one little push, like Nana canceling plans for a post-live get-together to send her over the edge. Of course, it's all in Hachi's head. Nana cares for her far more than she realizes, but try telling that to her. Hachi's opinion of herself only deteriorated each time she met Takumi. She viewed herself as a horrible person, which in turn led her right back to Takumi. It's a painful cycle. When Nobu expressed his genuine feelings for her, she felt trapped, that he only fell in love with his image of her. Hachi fell into a volatile state of mind, and it caused her to make a lot of bad decisions, something I'm sure many of us can relate to. Unhealthy people find unhealthy relationships. People often try to heal their emotional wounds and fix their perceived character flaws by seeking out whoever makes us feel whole, no matter how fruitless that is.
満ち足りない月。私は蓮といてもあんな感じ。どんなに深く愛し合っても、きっと誰も私を満たせない。
Hachi, ridden with guilt and self-doubt, attaches to the self-absorbed Takumi who's only in love with himself. On the flip side, Takumi's a possessive bastard, so he's attracted to Hachi as someone he knows he can easily control. Nobu, meanwhile, comes off as the nice guy lacking assertiveness, so Takumi beats him to the punch. Eventually, Nobu stands up for himself, and Hachi makes a decision to allow herself some personal happiness, even if she feels she doesn't deserve it. Nana being Nana, the fleeting happiness can only last so long, of course, as Hachi's pregnancy changes all of their lives permanently. The series' conflicts and backstories frequently blend together. What applies to one works for another. Like here, when Nana's feelings towards her mother and parenthood pertain to Hachi's decision to keep her child.
あんな理性を失ってる最中の人間のやることなんか適当になりがちじゃん。世の中ふざけた母親が多すぎるよ。
People tend to draw on past experiences to inform new decisions, even if that history leads them wrong. Sometimes, though, we rely on the advice of others to point us in the right direction, as Hachi does with Junko. Detached from the drama with Blast and Trap Nest, the two most level-headed characters, Junko and Kyosuke, provide a much-needed objective perspective, giving Hachi impartial advice free from, say, Nana's bias towards her friends. At times, this proves to be exactly what she needs to hear.
あんたは男を同じ人間というより、オスとして見てるからね。
At others, their lack of understanding with the situation makes their counsel misguided.
でもそれって結局自己満足余計傷つけるどう思う純ちゃん
Eventually, this leads Junko to the appropriate conclusion she shouldn't meddle in people's lives she's only half aware of.
責任感じてなんかショックだったよ。もう人様のことに余計な口出さないように気をつけよ。
A major theme throughout the series is that of self-sacrifice. Often in life, you have to be willing to give up your own happiness for the sake of something else. Yasu consistently puts the happiness of others before himself, being there whenever someone needs him without demanding anything in return. At the end of the series, Nobu makes a mature yet incredibly painful choice to let Hachi go, knowing it's what's best for her if he doesn't complicate the situation any further. Hachi picks Takumi to raise their child over Nobu despite his cold, manipulative demeanor because she knows he can provide stability and security. As much as I loved him, Nobu's too much like Hachi to be able to offer any help, far too immature and irresponsible at that point to handle raising a child. Takumi, for all his disgusting behavior, will provide a pillar of support for Hachi and the child, even if he's still only in it for himself. Hachi makes the sensible choice even if she knows she's giving up everything she ever dreamed of. Chasing your dreams is such a common theme in anime. Some say dreams do come true, others make the point that they don't, but Nana takes an interesting middle ground. Life doesn't always work that way. Occasionally, people do make their dreams a reality, but not in the way they anticipated. They go to the proverbial mountaintop and see the other side, only to find the view isn't what they thought it would be.
夢が叶うことと幸せになることはどうして別のものなんだろう
Hachi always wanted to raise a family and be a loving housewife. We see that very early on in her relationship with Shoji. Her pregnancy and engagement to Takumi appears to give that to her, but this isn't quite how she had it scripted. Nana seems to have everything she wanted when Blast finally hits it big, but gaining popularity through Ren feels cheap to her. She wanted to get there herself, to prove her strength. She begrudgingly accepts it, though, thanks to a promise to her friend.
ハチコ、見てなよ。あんたの望みは絶対叶えてやるから。
いっぱいテレビに出ていっぱい歌う姿を見せてください
Nana's fear of abandonment as a result of her childhood reappears later in the series when the mere thought of her separation with Hachi causes her to hyperventilate. Ren and Nana's relationship, somewhat similar to the dissolution of Shoji and Hachi's, never feels quite the same after their reunion. It's as passionate as ever, but Nana appears to harbor some lingering resentment towards Ren for leaving her behind like her parents to pursue his music. That disconnect manifests in how Nana often turns to Yasu when she needs help. Like anybody, there's a serious fragility to her, but Nana's strength in the face of that is truly inspiring.
どんな逆流にも踏ん張り続けることが人生なんだと私は思ってたけど、流されて生きるのはそんなにバカなことじゃないよ。前へ進めるなら。
Loneliness is a critical theme to the series, driving so many of the characters' actions from the obvious example of Hachi Toreda's relationship with Shin. Almost as if the series wishes to say everything we do, all the people we connect with, is out of fear of being alone. Nana certainly believes this at first. However, her thoughts shift towards the end of the series.
自分の人生は自分次第だって私は今もそう思ってる。だけど人は誰しもそんなに強くはなれないことを認められるようになった分あの頃より優しくなれたよ。
Throughout its 47-episode run, Nana's characters never lose their agency. They make choices which have far-reaching effects on both their own lives and the lives of those around them. For that very reason, my feelings towards each character never stayed the same for too long, a love-hate relationship that mirrored the rest of the cast's emotions for them almost to a T. For instance, I grew increasingly frustrated with Hachi late in the series, much like Nana herself. Her childish, spoiled nature only seemed to regress. Every minute of screen time she and Takumi shared left me with a nagging exasperation, as Hachi acted like Takumi's pet. I wasn't alone in feeling that way, of course. Nana avoided any contact with her whatsoever around that same time. It's no coincidence the series' narration switches from Hachi's to Nana's point of view here. Ultimately, Nana comes to terms with the fact that Hachi made her own decision and will have to live with it, while Hachi seemingly grows into a stronger-willed, more responsible person with the birth of her child. Like Nana, the end of the series reaffirmed my affection for Hachi's character, though in an irreversibly altered light, a point the series painstakingly makes in its final few episodes. Nana pulls its story from truly human behavior. It routinely points to the halcyon world of fiction as a quixotic wish, an unattainable reality.
あんたの目に映る私は強くしなやかでありたかった。出来すぎた漫画のヒーローみたいにね。
It emphasizes even further the series' place as a true-to-life adult drama. In the final episodes, the characters make every effort at reconciliation. Even Shoji and Hachi get their long-overdue closure, a reminder of how they really did care for each other. It's a bit ironic one of the series' least developed characters, Sachiko, provides one of its most poignant lines here.
遠くなるほどよく見えるのに、近くなるほど見失うんだよね。
みんなそうかも。
Nana echoes that statement when she says you only realize how much you miss someone until you see them again. Perhaps that's why Nana left. You'd have to read the still-on-hiatus manga to get the definitive answer, but I'd like to think she comes back one day. It's as Hachi said, no matter how painful, as long as we're alive, something good will happen. Isn't that what Nana's all about? A glimpse into this segment of these people's lives. Nothing ever stays the same. To live is to change. The old adage, time heals all wounds, is only partially true. The pain never goes away. The stinging regret and longing for those happy days lost to time hurts the two Nanas no matter how many years go by. But maybe they're not so lost after all. Maybe those days are still there, waiting for them. Maybe.
気づいて I'm here